Please pass your papers forward.
How'd you do, man?
You spelled my name perfect.
Now I want to tell you about your final essay assignments. That's no attitude. This is your last chance to express yourself at Whitman.
Well, what's our first chance, Miss Johnson?
I want you all to write 1,000 words on the author that's meant the most to you in high school.
That's easy. The guy who wrote the disciplinary code.
Now, 5 of you from this section are excused from this assignment to work on your valedictorian speeches. And that's Eunice, Roger, Murray, Donna, and Neil.
How do they rate? How come they're the only ones that get to write the graduation speeches?
Because they have a 3.5 average or better.
Big deal. So they're A students. That doesn't mean they got more to say than anybody else.
How do you think you get A's?
I think it's your looks, Mur.
The rest of us don't even get a chance. Do you think that's right, Miss Johnson?
Well, it's tradition that the cum laudes give the speeches.
Tradition?
Well, I agree with Jason and Stan. Why should only the A students be the ones to speak?
What are you doing?
See, she's not afraid of competition.
Maybe we ought to talk to Mr. Kaufman, huh?
All Kaufman will do is show the state rules on graduation, that's all.
Yeah, you know who wrote those? The same guy who wrote the disciplinary code.
How come you're pleading their cause?
Because, Mr. Kaufman, I happen to think the students are really right.
They do have a good point. You know, Webster defines a valediction as a statement on leaving, not an IQ test. Now, a 3.5 average says good student, right? It also says hard worker. It does not indicate a leader or a good speaker, and it is in no way indicative of an inventive mind. Tell me something. Were you an A student, Mr. Kaufman?
Well, that wouldn't be a fair question to ask me, Pete. I happen to be the principal of a high school.
Were you?
No.
Neither was I. Liz?
B-, math got me.
Alice?
Oh, yeah, I got A's. I got all A's. I gave the graduation speech. I guess it was, pretty corny.
The challenge before us, right?
The promise of tomorrow.
Ooh.
You know, I don't know what harm it would do if, everybody submitted a speech.
Certainly would be a lift to the C students. I mean, just the thought that somebody might be interested in something they had to say.
And what they have to say might be very interesting.
I mean, the whole idea of graduation is changing. I mean, in some schools, they don't even have caps and gowns and proms anymore. They give the money to causes.
Sometimes I wonder if any of our old traditions are worth preserving. Well, I guess we won't know unless we experiment. Miss Johnson, we'll try your little exercise in democracy. But I hope you all realize that that means we're going to have to find people to read 380 anonymous speeches instead of 40.
There's nothing I'd rather do than read 40 or 50 speeches this weekend.
I can hardly wait myself.
You see, Miss Johnson, without your little plan, your friends might have had to waste their free time doing frivolous things like going to the movies and dancing.
Well, looks like I came to the rescue again. Huh, gang?
Right, Johnson.
Well, today's the day. The judges have been judging your speeches, and I'm glad to announce that 3 of the winners are in this class. Donna, you'll be giving a speech. And so will you, Stan.
You're kidding.
No, I wouldn't kid about a thing like this. And Murray, you're first alternate.
Well, look who turned out to be speech maker.
Oh, cut it out, man. It's some kind of a gag.
No, it isn't. Look, I read your speech, and it was really terrific. Donna, yours was excellent, too, and so was yours, Murray.
Sure, Miss Johnson. I don't know why I even bothered to write it.
Oh, here we go again.
All you've done the last 4 years is get in trouble. I've worked hard for my grades. Where'd it get me? First alternate.
Be cool, Murray. Maybe there'll be a flu epidemic, and then you can give all 3 speeches.
It's not just the speech. It's the principle of the thing. There's nothing special about being special anymore.
What do you mean, special?
You're special because you get A's. I'm special because I wrote a good speech.
You spent one night on that speech. I worked 4 years for my grades.
Hey, what is the big deal, huh? I won and that's that. Right, Miss Johnson?
It's the first step toward anarchy.
Actually, I think what Miss Tandy is saying is that this could have a disruptive influence on our future students.
I said anarchy, and I meant anarchy. If you make every honor available to every student, you deprive them of their motivation to compete.
But shouldn't the students be encouraged to get an education for its own sake, not for the honors?
If you look at it that way, one obviously has to respect that principle.
Yes. Now, what I wanted to know is why you two waited so long to say anything. I mean, why didn't you speak up when we first changed the rule?
We felt it wasn't our province. But when a boy like Stan Siebert is chosen valedictorian, one can't stand on ceremony.
Oh, I see. It's not really the rule, then, that's bothering you two. It's Stan.
Mr. Kaufman, Stan Siebert has drifted merrily through his 4 years here at Whitman, barely avoiding expulsion, just having a good time.
Having a good time. Well, perhaps. But he did win this honor in an open, fair competition.
Oh, hi, Mr. Dragon. Miss Tandy?
Good morning, Miss Johnson. I trust you're pleased with your innovation?
Actually, I think what Miss Tandy means is,
Oh, boy. Do a lot of the faculty feel that way?
Probably. But I didn't bring you down here to get a consensus. I want your opinion about something. Our valedictorians have been asked to appear on a Sunday television show. Jackson Baker Talks to Youth.
Well, if you want my honest opinion, sir, I think Jackson Baker is an awful square.
I wasn't really interested in your opinion of Jackson Baker. More like your opinion of Stan Siebert. Do you think it's safe to let him appear?
Safe?
There's no need to speak in riddles, Miss Johnson. Stan isn't exactly noted for self-control.
Well, he does speak his mind in class.
Speaking his mind is every citizen's right. Threatening to slug the boy's vice principal is not.
Mr. Casey?
The very one. Now, there's no excuse for that kind of behavior.
And you don't want to let bygones be bygones, huh?
Oh, I was very willing to do that. The incident had shrunk to a dim flicker in my memory until Stan started throwing eggs at Councilman Hackett on Americanism Day.
Well, I guess, Stan finds it hard to stifle his negative feelings. And I guess he, finds it hard to accept the authority figures.
Oh.
I guess that's obvious.
And I guess you want me to give him a chance.
I guess so.
Bye. Hey, Miss Johnson. Miss Johnson, are you going to watch me on television?
Of course. Oh, Miss McIntyre's having some of us over for brunch, and we're all going to watch together.
Hey, far out. I'm going to have my own fan club.
Right.
You know, I really owe you a lot.
Stan, I didn't write your speech.
No, I mean, well, I don't mean that, but you did go to bat so that we could all write the speeches, you know? Anyway, it's a lot more than that. You're really a good teacher, you know that?
Thank you.
You know, if it wasn't for you and Mr. Dixon, a couple of others, I probably would have dropped out of this place a long, long time ago. You really listen, you know? You really listen. Like those other teachers, some of them, man, you raise your hand and they listen, but, wow, it's like they were waiting for some kind of a bus, you know?
What are you going to do after graduation, Stan?
I don't know. I don't know. My father says he could probably get me a job where he works.
Have you thought about college?
Oh, yeah. But you know what my grades are like. Harvard and Yale are not exactly fighting over me.
How about starting with junior college?
Yeah, I know. I've been thinking about that. If I got a job, I could probably take classes at night, couldn't I?
I hope you do. I don't mean to push you or anything, but I think you have an awful lot of potential.
You can push. I don't mind. I'll see you later.
I said it's not the sum, it's the principle. Okay, let's talk a little bit now about the curriculum.
Well, I do think some of our courses could be more relevant.
That's an interesting point.
A lot of the stuff we're required to take doesn't have much to do with what our lives are really like. For example, the language courses. We don't really need all that stuff, and I just don't know.
That is fascinating, Donna. Aren't these kids something? They question everything. It's a tonic just to be with them. Now, let's talk a little bit about the extracurricular activities. Willard, are you involved in sports?
Excuse me, Mr. Baker, what Donna was saying is very important.
Yes, it was. We all heard her, Sam.
Stan. No, I mean, she didn't get a chance to explain. You see, that's one of the really big problems in school today. You don't really learn things, you just borrow them.
Oh, I don't think you really mean that. Willard, about sports. Who had the best track team?
No, I do mean it. I do mean it, Mr. Baker. I mean, it's like the way the system is set up, right? You waste half your time learning facts for the tests. And then a week later, you ask the same questions, you'd think the whole student body came down with amnesia.
You suppose there's a chance that anybody from the Board of Education is watching, or is there a football game on the other channel?
You're very quick with the jokes, aren't you, Stan?
No, it's no joke, Mr. Baker. That's why school's such a drag most of the time. You never get to question things, and... I mean, there's things in those textbooks that don't make sense anymore, but there's no way of... Oh, excuse me, you took the camera off me. You took that camera off me. You think I'm some kind of a jerk? I don't know when the camera's on me?
I think you're a very, excitable young man.
That's lousy manners to turn someone off like that.
I think I have to question your authority on manners, Stan. And it seems to me that you've had more than your share of time. Now, I'd like to hear what Willard has to say about sports.
Nobody cares about sports. You have a chance to do something really important here.
Did I miss something?
This isn't the state legislature,
You are
Stan.
not even listening. As a matter of fact, you make such a good non-listener, they ought to make you superintendent of schools.
I really think it's time for you to sit down, Stan, and let somebody else speak.
Why should I sit down? You don't want people here, man. You just want bodies.
Stan!
Hey, come on. This is not a discussion. This is a bigger fake than the wrestling matches.
Will you please sit down?
Okay. All right, I'll sit down, but will you stop pulling on your ears? I know that's a signal.
We regret that due to technical difficulties, we have temporarily lost the sound portion of the Jackson Baker Show. Please stay with us.
I think I'll call in sick tomorrow. In fact, I think I'll call in sick today, even though it's Sunday. Can I leave any messages for you?
Mr. Kaufman, it's not merely parents and faculty who are responding adversely. Many of the students feel that Stan's behavior has discredited Whitman.
I know.
I don't think it was quite that bad. Baker was just as provocative in his own way as Stan was.
Stan still should have kept his temper.
That's true. But you know, the fact that he didn't doesn't mean that he shouldn't give his valedictory address.
Mr. Kaufman, I think we've all been more than fair to that boy.
Miss Tandy, for the first time, Stan has become constructively involved in something. And he's found a new way to express his point of view. I think if we deny him the right to speak, there's a good chance he'll go back to throwing eggs as a form of self-expression.
That's true. Well, Stan's sort of been a late bloomer. And I know he's kind of overbloomed, but he really has changed for the better.
And isn't that the reason we're here? To help the students change for the better?
And you've both read Stan's speech. There's nothing inflammatory about it.
Oh, yes, that's true. But will he stick to that speech? Well?
Why did you have to ask that, Miss Tandy? Okay. Stan, would you come in, please?
Why would he change his speech?
Sir?
Stan, I want to talk to you about the graduation.
You don't want me to give my speech?
Oh, no. I'm very impressed with your speech. I'm concerned with the ceremony itself. Stan, you know, graduation is one of those tired old traditions that mean a lot to some people, like legal marriages and a reasonable credit rating. Now, no matter how square those people may seem to you, I hope you're going to respect their rights.
I don't understand.
I hope that you're going to give the speech that you wrote.
Are you trying to muzzle me, sir?
If I was trying to muzzle you, Stan, I would muzzle you, and then we wouldn't need this discussion. I'm trying to prevent another incident. What do you say?
Well, actually, up till now, I hadn't really thought about changing my speech. But what with all the static that I've been getting about the Baker Show, there are a few things that I'd like to lay on the people, yeah.
You really think that graduation is the place to do that?
You want an honest answer?
Yeah, I really do.
I don't know, maybe so.
Stan, I've stood by you all along. But honestly, if you spoil the ceremony, I'll never forgive you.
Would I really spoil it, Donna? Would I really... If I just told exactly what happened, the way they're trying to shut me up and everything else?
My grandparents are coming all the way across the country for this.
So they'll find out where it's really at. What's wrong with that?
What about Miss Johnson?
What about Miss Johnson?
She's practically sponsored you as a valedictorian. You blow the speech, you still graduate, right? But she has to stay here.
She doesn't even have tenure, man. She could lose her job.
Listen, Miss Johnson's okay. She wants you to take a stand.
How do you know, Jason?
I'd better fill you in on the final exam. The test will be in 3 parts. Essay, multiple choice, and true or false.
Stan, you nervous?
Yeah, kind of. Listen, what should I do? Should I go along with them?
You have to decide that for yourself, Stan.
Look, if you want me to, I'll stick to my speech.
It's not a very good reason.
Everything is getting so complicated. It seems like there are so many people involved. No matter what I do, I can't... Just, you tell me what you think, Miss Johnson.
Stan, it's your speech. Now you better go. You're going to be late for the procession.
We will always remember the standards you have set for us. The image of Walt Whitman High School will burn brightly in our memory.
My name is Stan Siebert. I've been through quite an experience in the last few weeks. Some of it good. I've gotten to know some very fine people who teach here at Walt Whitman. These people understand, and they help. They help me. See, I criticized the system, and I got blasted for it.
I think it's ad-lib time.
Kids are told that we're sent to school to learn to think for ourselves. Well, I don't think that's true. I think you people want us to buy your ideas wholesale. Well, they're old ideas, and they're worn out, and I am not going to do it. And there are a lot of kids like me. You'd think that you parents had made such a great, perfect world. Well, the world is in pretty crummy condition, and you made it that way. Now, some of you use words, you know, like freedom and democracy and like that. Well, I haven't seen too much freedom and democracy in my time at school. You jam us into crowded classes like a bunch of animals because you won't give your money for bigger schools and better facilities, and then you hire a bunch of teachers to cram a bunch of junk down our throats like trigonometry and French, so that we have to beat our brains out to get better grades than the next kid, so that we go to college where we learn more useless junk that has nothing whatever to do with what we need.
Are you pleased with your protege, Miss Johnson?
Now I know how Lenin's mother must have felt.
The world is burning. Races are at one another's throats. There are wars. Millions of people are starving. Why don't you teach us how to build a better world? We can't change the mess that you've given us by learning trigonometry.
Is this supposed to be a graduation speech?
You children all think you're so smart. You can't change the world overnight, you know?
You people have had a lot longer than overnight.
The kid's got a point.
Listen, if you can't say something constructive, sit down.
Let's let the speaker continue, please.
All you kids are alike. All you want to do is tear down, just like you've ruined this graduation.
What is so important about a graduation?
It is a tradition, and you are ruining it.
There are more important things than tradition.
We must let the speaker continue, please.
Tradition makes a big deal of something just because it's been going on for a long time. Like us wearing these crazy gowns. I mean, just because some crazy Greek or somebody wore it 1,000 years ago, does that mean that I have to wear it? The world is going to change because it has to change. It can't go on this way. And whether you like it or not, the kids are the ones who are going to change it.
Mr. Kaufman, that child has made a circus out of this graduation.
Do you agree with what he says?
No, not completely. But the important thing is that Stan earned the right to speak and that he was heard. Now, some of us don't like the things that he said, but we're all in one piece. No harm was done. Oh, some of our attitudes were shaken, but then some of our attitudes can stand a little shaking. Now then, the first to receive their diplomas will be our speakers. Stan Siebert. Congratulations.
Oh, you should feel pretty good. Gave one of our dusty old institutions quite a shake up there.
Thank you, Pete. Johnson, you really did it. Thanks, Liz.
Mr. Kaufman, I want to congratulate you. This graduation was invigorating. Whose idea was it?
Well, if anyone deserves credit, it would be Miss Johnson here.
Miss Johnson, it was invigorating, an invigorating experience.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How does it feel to be Whitman's Joan of Arc?
I don't know yet.
Mr. Kaufman, I am appalled and distressed at that exhibition that we just witnessed. Now, I would like to know just exactly who is responsible for that child being chosen to speak.
Well, I'm responsible for whatever goes on here at Walt Whitman.
Well, in that case, I would like to ask you...
Excuse me, but with all due respect to Mr. Kaufman, it was actually my idea that Stan be allowed to speak.
Oh, well, then perhaps you can tell me what your standards are.
Excuse me, Miss Johnson, but Stan would have never made the speech if I hadn't okayed it. If you have any complaints to make, you can direct them at me.
It's very nice of you, Mr. Kaufman, but in all fairness, all the complaints should be made to me. Now, you do want to be fair, don't you?
I want to be fair, Miss Johnson, but until you're principal of this high school...
Now, what were we talking about?
Joan of Arc.
Right. And you know what finally happened to her.
Yeah, but you see, she didn't have Mr. Kaufman to protect her.
I think with Jerry Cates, we stand a chance at the city championship.
There's Jerry! Great game, Jerry. Fantastic game. Way to go.
Good game, Jerry.
I said good game.
Oh, thanks a lot.
You were fabulous, Jerry. Really terrific.
Hey, Jerry. You remember my parents. My mother's on the right.
We've missed you, Jerry.
Thursday nights just doesn't seem the same. The Lakers haven't been doing too well either without you there watching.
Yeah, well, we have a TV set at home now. It was nice seeing you.
Come see us.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, Jerry. Where you going?
I gotta get home.
Every day you gotta get home. What's there?
Nothing, man. I just gotta get home.
All right, but you don't have to get mad.
Look, I'm not mad. I just gotta get home.
Is that from your mother?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, you're 2 weeks overdue today. I don't usually give any extensions to my tenants.
Well, she's coming home, Mrs. Bush. She told me in her last letter that she'd let me know when to meet her at the airport.
Maybe there's a check in there for me.
Well, if there is, I'll see that you get it.
The events leading up to the War of 1812 are very complex. And it was a war with a certain similarity to our own situation in Vietnam, in that all of the people weren't in favor of it. Does anybody else know of any other similarities? Jason?
Well, there was a group in Congress that wanted the war called War Hawks, so I guess there must have been a hawk and dove thing then, too.
Okay, cool it.
Well, what was the question, Mr. Dixon?
Okay, that's it. And remember, tomorrow, a 10-minute quiz. Jerry, I'd like to talk to you for a minute. You know, this isn't the first time that you've fallen asleep in class lately. And your test marks are going down. Is there something you want to talk about?
I guess it's just basketball practice, along with everything else, you know.
Well, you were on the team last year and it didn't seem to make that much difference, did it?
No.
Have you had a physical checkup lately?
Yeah, I had one just before season started. I'm all right.
And what's the problem?
I don't know.
Okay.
If nobody else has any victims to offer, I've got one. How about Jerry Cates? It seems like everybody's turned in a referral slip on him in the last couple of months or so.
He's not really a disciplinary case. He just sleeps in class.
How are his grades?
Oh, not too good. He's failing English. Sociology down from an A- to a C. Spanish down from a B to a C.
Well, what's the matter with him? Has anybody tried to talk to him?
Oh, you can't. He's a pretty buttoned-up kid these days. The only person he'll talk to is Larry Ellis.
It's funny, Jerry Cates always seemed like an open, outgoing boy.
I got a call about Jerry today, but it was so kind of dumb. I just put it out of my mind, but...
What was it?
Well, it was from his landlady, Mrs. Barnaby or Barnes or something like that. Anyway, she went through this whole song and dance about her rent. So I told her to take it up with Jerry's mother. And she said something like, "That's easier said than done." Then she hung up.
Oh, what would she call the school for, I wonder?
I don't know. She had one of those high, hysterical voices. I didn't even take it seriously.
Who has him first period tomorrow?
I do.
Send him to my office after class, will you, Miss Johnson? I'd like to talk to him. Don't make a big deal out of it. Just tell him I'd like to chat with him.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm with the TV Opinion Institute, and I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Larry, later.
You have to go home, right?
You got it.
Hey, Jerry, are you in some kind of trouble?
There's no trouble, man.
Then what's the matter with you?
All right, look. Now, I have a job, okay? In a gas station, all right? I have to be there at 5:30. Now, that gives me 1/2 hour, and I still have to eat first, all right?
Why didn't you tell me about the job in the first place?
Because I didn't want anybody to know about it.
What's the big deal?
Larry, I need this job. And I don't want anybody at school to tell me I have to quit because of my marks or anything else. Now, do you understand?
Oh, can I come in for a minute?
Yeah.
Oh, am I keeping you from something?
Well, I do have to go somewhere. I have a dentist appointment.
Oh. Well, you go ahead. I'll talk to your mother if she's around.
Well, she's not here right now.
Oh, it's too bad. Well, I'll come back.
Well, she won't be back.
Oh.
I mean, for quite a while. She works late on Thursdays.
Thursdays? I must have missed a day somewhere. I could swear today was Wednesday.
Well, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean Wednesdays, yeah.
What, is something burning?
Oh, it's probably just the people next door burning trash.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, Jerry, I know you're in a hurry. I'm not going to keep you. Tomorrow morning, why don't you drop into my office? We'll have a little talk. Try to make it before the first bell, okay?
Well, did I do something wrong?
No. It's just that you seem to be having a little trouble scholastically, mainly history and English. And I used to be a pretty fair English teacher. Maybe I can help you out.
Why? I mean, why me? There's a lot of kids doing worser than me in English.
Worser? No, not much worser. Jerry, there is something burning in that oven. Don't you think you better see? I think you overcooked it. Jerry, where's your mother?
I told you, my mother is at work. She works overtime.
Okay, Jerry.
Why do you want to know about me?
I'd like to help you.
She's a good person. I don't want you to think she's not. Her problem is... She just believes what people say. Men. What do you care? It doesn't matter. What does it matter? You know what I mean?
It seems to matter a great deal.
Yeah. She's got this fantastic trust. Well, ever since my dad ran off, she has had 1,000,000 proposals and 100,000 honeymoons. But not one wedding. I know what you're thinking, but she's not like what you're thinking.
Actually, I was thinking she's a lucky woman to have a son like you.
So what's going to happen to him? He's underage.
Well, at least he's talking to me now. We had a real good session this morning. And I've made arrangements with his landlady about the rent.
You mean you've paid it?
With all due respect, Mr. Kaufman,
Oh?
I mean, you just can't go getting involved like that.
Well, I don't see why not. He's a good boy and he's got a big problem. Maybe I can help him. He's a good boy.
Yeah, but how long can you go on paying his rent?
What is this obsession you have with his rent?
Mr. Kaufman, isn't it against the law for a minor to live alone?
Well,
if that's true, then it's also against the law for you to help him to live alone.
well, but it's not going to be forever. I mean, presumably his mother will come back sometime. I think she genuinely loves the boy. She's just...
Romantic?
That's right. Romantic.
Lady here to see you.
What?
Jerry, Kate,
Yeah?
I wonder if I could talk to you for a moment.
Well, what about?
Yeah, what about? I'm this boy's manager, and he never makes a move without me.
Would you excuse us for a moment, I wonder?
Oh, sure. Just don't sign anything.
I'm Ana Santos. I'm from the Child Welfare and Attendance Department.
Man, why didn't you tell me your old lady was gone?
Why should I?
What'd you tell her? The hooky cop.
I told her my mother was coming home. She said she'd come by again next week to check on her.
What if your mother doesn't show up by then?
And I gotta go into a foster home.
Foster home? You?
Unless I can get a guardian.
How you gonna do that? They having a special sale on guardians this week?
Don't sweat it, man. I'll get one.
You will, huh?
Yeah.
Who?
Mr. Kaufman, what's a guardian?
Well, there are several different kinds.
Oh, I know. I mean the kind that takes care of a kid.
Answered your own question. Jerry. Mrs. Santos from the Child Welfare Department was here last period.
Well, then, you know. Yeah, but a kid my age doesn't have to live with a guardian, does he? I mean, well, I could just keep on living by myself, and all the guardian would have to do would be just sign papers and say everything's cool in case there's any trouble, right?
Oh, well, that's true, but...
Well, do you think I might be able to find somebody who'd do that for me?
Jerry, you should be with a family that cares for you. You don't want somebody that just signs papers to fulfill the legal requirements.
I know, but it'd just be for a little while. Just till my mother gets back.
Yeah, but... Are you asking me to be your guardian?
Would you?
It's very flattering, Jerry. I like you. I've enjoyed our morning sessions. But frankly, I can't convince myself that you're continuing to live alone like this is a good thing for you. Don't you think you'd be happier in a family?
A family? Oh, you mean a foster family, where they get paid for taking care of kids?
Oh, now, wait a minute. Now, look, if somebody's out to make money, believe me, there are easier ways. The foster families that I have known are kind, understanding people who feel that their lives are enriched by being around young people.
And you don't, right?
Well, I'm not sure. I've never taken on more than 3,500 at once.
In other words, no, you won't be my guardian.
Well, now, wait, I didn't say that.
Oh, that's okay, Mr. Kaufman. Just forget I asked.
Jerry. I'll tell Mrs. Santos that I've consented to be your guardian.
Oh, thanks a lot, Mr. Kaufman. Well, I talk about my mother. I'm just as dumb as she is.
Why? For trusting people?
For trusting the wrong people. Who is it?
Me.
What do you want?
All right, quit stalling, Gates, and open up this door, see? Or I'm coming in after you. Where you going?
I don't know. Any place. Just know I'm not going into any foster home.
What about the guardian you're gonna get?
I don't need no guardian. I'm better off by myself.
Oh, I can see that. The place really looks great. Informal-like. And when you get tired of washing dishes, you can always lie down on the stove.
Oh, you got nothing better to do than just hang around and bug me, huh?
Jerry, why do you act so tough? You know I'm your friend.
Do me a favor, huh? Just beat it.
If I really thought you wanted me to go, I would.
I want you to. Why would I want a stupid little midget like you hanging around?
Because I can help you, that's why.
What are you doing?
You gotta eat, don't you? Suitcase stew had a little ketchup, a little salt and pepper. How about a dash of underwear?
Cut it out, man.
Go ahead and hit me, and I'll hit you right back. Man, you're a bummer, you know that? You are so hung up feeling sorry about yourself, you don't even know who's on your side. Man, why don't you just admit it? You're scared and lonely. And you just ain't cutting it by yourself.
All of his clothes are gone. Do you suppose he ran away?
Well, I've really done it, haven't I? The boy was just reaching out for me, and now what?
Oh, I wouldn't be so hard on myself if I were you. You did everything you could.
Hey, if you're looking for the Cates boy, he's not here.
Do you have any idea where he might have gone?
How would I know? They just left without a word. And after all I've done for him, too.
Yes, well, did you say they?
I guess I didn't know what I was gonna do, and, well, Larry here asked me to come over for dinner to give me time to think about it.
Have you thought about it?
Yeah, and I guess what you said was right, Mr. Kaufman. So I'll go tell Mrs. Santos to find me a foster home.
I think that's best, Jerry.
Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Kaufman, I mean, what I said in your office...
Oh, forget about that. I understand. I didn't say exactly what I wanted to either.
You two, come and help me with the coffin cake, okay? Oh, you too, Mr. Kaufman. If you don't mind.
No.
I guess Mr. Kaufman's right. Family wouldn't take a kid in if they didn't like him. And the county checks him out real good, too. Right?
They're very thorough.
Yeah, who knows? I might even dig it. At least I won't have to worry about the rent anymore.
You'll be all right, Jerry.
Thank you.
Hey, Jerry. If I ask a favor, you promise not to get bugged?
No, I promise.
Well, you say I always bug you.
I said I wouldn't get mad.
See, you're getting mad already.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I am not.
I mean, you promise not to get mad if I get in the bathroom before you do, or use your towel, or your aftershave lotion?
Wait a minute. What are you talking about?
Jerry, what Larry's trying to say is he wants you to stay here with us. We all would.
What do you say, Jerry? Okay, I'll even promise not to use your aftershave lotion. I mean, why should I? I don't even shave.
stay with us, Jerry.
I'd like that. Like, just till my mother gets back.
Oh, of course.
And if you find that changing homes doesn't solve all of your problems, like the difference between a participle and a gerund, my door is still open.
Mr. Kaufman, Jerry Cate's mother's here to see you.
Oh, yes. Send her in. Mrs. Cates.
Mr. Kaufman, I've certainly looked forward to meeting you so.
Well, won't you sit down?
No, I just came by to thank you for being so kind to Jerry while I was away.
He's a fine boy.
I'm afraid that I probably haven't thought about him as much as I should have lately. But all that's going to change now. Yes, Lou and I are getting married.
Well, congratulations.
And he's waiting for me in Seattle. And I'm going back tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jerry's going to come and live with us. I don't know when, but soon. As soon as possible.
Something wrong?
Somehow I just expected a much older man.
Oh. Well, it's very kind of you.
Such a distinguished-looking boss you have. Well, I'll be running along. Maybe we'll run into each other again sometime.
Hope so. Bye, Mrs. Cates.
Au revoir, Mr. Kaufman.
Au revoir, Mr. Kaufman.
What is it? What in the world?
Hey, excuse me.
You talking to us?
Yes, could you kindly help me? This is my first day, and I'm told to look up the administration office.
Yeah, sure. I'm going that way.
Huh, thanks. I know I'd get lost for sure. There aren't this many buildings in all of Pawtucket County.
Where you from, man?
Webster's Turnaround, Missouri. But I know most people never heard of a Webster's Turnaround. That's why I say Pawtucket.
Well, look, I'm going this way. I'll see you later, man.
Come on. Come on. Hey! Hey! Hey, is that your bike over there?
Well, it belongs to the store I work for, but they let me use it.
Boy, that's some bike. Busby's Groceries. We deliver. Okay, Archie. I'll bet you're new in school.
How could you tell?
Your shoe gave you away. I didn't recognize the flap.
Oh, you mean my talking shoe.
Your what?
Well, it may be old, but it keeps me company. I can talk to it. Hello, shoe.
Hi, how are you? Hey, watch this.
It's nice to be in the big city, but people's shoes don't seem to talk much out here.
Oh, no. We better get going.
Shoe, say goodbye.
Goodbye. Yeah. Hey, look, I'd really like to sit and rap with you in your shoe sometime. Yeah, it must have plenty of soul. Yeah. Oh, good. Let's go. Yeah. Hey, maybe I could sit down and chat with your shirt one of these days.
Oh, good morning, Rich.
Oh, hi, Mr. Dixon. This is a new kid in school.
Matthew Palmer, pleased to meet you, sir.
How are you?
Oh, by the way, my name is Richie.
You can call me Matt. A stranger stops feeling like a stranger once he's met a friend.
Yeah, like I always say. Oh, I was going to take him to the office.
Well, I'm going down that way myself. Come on, you want to walk with me?
Oh, well, in that case, I'll go to class. See you.
See you later, Rich.
You know, I can't get over how big this school is. The only thing my old school had bigger was the playground. It stretched about 50 miles in every direction.
Well, you must have come from a small town.
Yeah, this is really a chance of a lifetime coming here. Ma'am, if you're wondering why my birth certificate was issued 5 years after I was born, it's because I was born on a farm and there wasn't a doctor. But I didn't need to prove I was living until I started in school.
Well, there's more to it than that. You see, the standards are different. So although you're supposed to be in the 11th grade, I'm afraid we're going to have to keep you in the 10th.
Oh, busy.
No, come here. Mr. Kaufman, this is Matthew Palmer, a new student. This is our principal, Mr. Kaufman.
Pleased to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you. What's he so polite about? What's he done wrong?
Nothing. Matt's from a rural school, and it seems he has a lot of catching up to do.
I see.
But I was top in my class, and I read a lot of books. Leaves of Grass, Pilgrim's Progress, Tom Sawyer Detective, Huckleberry Finn.
Excuse me, Tom Sawyer Detective?
Yes, sir. It's one of my favorites. Don't you think schools are supposed to bring out the best in a person?
Oh, hopefully.
Well, if you all put me back a grade, how can that bring out the best in me?
Well, we just don't want to put you in a class that's over your head.
I can catch up. My family worked hard all their lives. I can do it for a few weeks.
Well, it might take a little more than a few weeks.
Well, I'll work harder a few weeks longer.
Well, he sure is determined.
I sure am.
Well, I think we can give him a chance. What do you think, Miss McIntyre?
Okay.
Thank you, sir, ma'am. I won't let you down.
All right, then take these to the registrar.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Good luck. Have you ever heard of Tom Sawyer Detective?
Sure, I read it years ago.
Another product of the Civil War was outlaws. The North considered Quantrell's raiders to be nothing more than outlaws in Southern uniforms. Then after the war, out of Quantrell's raiders came Jesse James and his gang, the Dalton brothers.
Say, when those guys had a reunion of their old army buddies, it must have been something else.
It must have been. Now, was the war to blame for creating these outlaws, or did these men use the war as an excuse to break the law?
Pardon me, sir.
Yes, Matt.
Now, I know it ain't right to glorify outlaws, but Jesse James did have some good in him. My great-grandma met Jesse once. If you'd like to hear about it.
Sure, go ahead.
Well, it happened to Grandma Cox. It was on her farm back in Missouri. And one morning, this man rode up and said he was tired and hungry and asked for breakfast.
Oh, brother.
Well, Grandma Cox fixed breakfast for him, and this man said it was the best he ever ate. He must have noticed that she was looking kind of sad, and she told him that the banker was coming that day to foreclose on her farm because she didn't have $300 to pay off the mortgage. Well, he thanked her and rode off, and you can imagine her face when she found $300 under his plate. And you can imagine the banker's face when she paid him off and he couldn't foreclose. He was still feeling kind of out of sorts riding back to town when that same feller stepped out with a gun and says, "Hands up, this is a holdup." And he took back the $300 and rode off. Later on, the banker identified a wanted poster, and you never guess who that bandit was.
John Wayne.
It was very interesting, Matt.
So is Mother Goose.
That's enough, Archie.
Mr. Dixon.
Yes, Matt.
Did I do something wrong?
What do you mean?
Well, the kids were laughing and carrying on like they didn't believe me or something.
Oh, I think they believed you.
Then what?
Well, Matt, maybe it's because you're a new student. And new students often get teased a little at first. But I wouldn't worry about it too much if I were you.
I should have thought of that. It's just that I've never been a new student before. Thanks, Mr. Dixon. Boy, oh boy, this is really something.
Now, see, now, right over here's where you'll have your biology lab.
This is really something. Hey, what's this whatchamacallit up on the wall?
Oh, this is our fire alarm. In case there's a fire, you just take this thing and break the window and the bell rings.
Really? Our fire alarm back home was when someone yelled, "Fire! Fire!"
What the devil's going on here?
I was just, I mean,
You're just being a wise guy. That's what you were doing, right?
No, sir.
Let me give you a little advice, sonny boy. Don't be a wise guy, because you're not impressing anybody. Now, if you feel you've got to be a wise guy, you just keep as far away from me as you can, because I don't like wise guys. Not at all. Not one little bit.
Shoot, folks sure are touchy around these parts.
And then he was telling us the story about Jesse James, you know. Very interesting. But you know how the kids get when there's somebody different. They started to put him on.
Is he the one the kids call Bastrop McGraw? And they were teasing this tall, kind of skinny kid in study hall. They were asking him directions to the OK Corral and stuff like that.
That was him, all right.
That's a shame, isn't it? Such a decent, innocent boy. It's almost as if he's too nice.
Oh, I don't think you can be too nice. Matt's problem is that he's too naive. You know, he finds it hard to believe that anybody would take advantage of him.
Sure would be swell if everybody could be like that.
But they're not. Matt's just gonna have to wise up.
Don't worry, he will.
Yeah. If he's gonna get along at all, he's gonna have to become as tough and hardened and cynical as the rest of us.
Here he comes. Boy, are we in big trouble.
Y'all in trouble?
I don't know what we're gonna do.
What a day for Jerry to get sick, huh?
Well, we gotta get somebody, you know?
What about him? I don't know. You think he can do it?
He's got to. It's our only chance. What do you say, Matt, would you?
Sure. Would I do what?
Well, we're the fire drill squad, see? There's gonna be a fire drill in 2 minutes. Only Jerry, the hose monitor, ain't here. And we gotta go cover our post, but there's nobody to take the hose. Would you do it? It's an honor. Yeah. Usually only seniors get to carry the hose. What do you say?
Sure, I'd be proud to help you fellows out.
Great. Okay, take this. Good. Now go up the stairs to the 2nd floor and stand guard.
Is that all?
Is that all? Did you hear that? The 2nd floor is the heart of the building. That's where the hose man has to stand guard. Okay, now let's hurry. Now get up there and stay there till we come for you. Go ahead.
Okay, and thanks a lot for letting me do this for you guys.
That's okay. Better get going.
supposed to be doing?
Well, they said, you know the fire drill? Well, my post is here, see?
All I see is a wise guy. Now, I told you how I feel about wise guys.
I didn't mean you getting all wet.
Turn it off, you fool!
Do you know how serious it is to squirt a teacher?
I sure do, but I am sorry.
Well, sorry is not good enough, Matt. I mean, suppose there'd been a real fire while you were busy shrinking Mr. Windish's shirt with that hose.
Sure was a dumb mistake.
Matt, do you realize that a bunch of kids purposely got you into trouble?
Well, I hate to think the worst of folks, but I kind of suspect you're right.
Well, that's something. Now, I'm going to have to know who those boys were. This is too serious an offense to let go unpunished.
I'm sorry, sir, I can't tell you that. My daddy taught me there's nothing worse than a man who tells on his neighbor.
That's very commendable, Matt. But those neighbors made a fool of you.
When you think you're doing the right thing, you don't ask yourself if you're being a fool for doing it.
Matt, would you wait in the outer office, please?
Yes. I know it don't help much, but I am sorry about causing so much trouble.
All right, Matt.
You do believe him, don't you?
No, of course I do.
Then there's no problem.
Oh, there's a very big problem. I can't have a kid as gullible as Matt running around the halls squirting people with hoses. Who knows what he's going to do next? Oh, more to the point, what they'll do to him next.
I know. But you can't punish him because of his gullibility.
Oh, I don't want to punish him.
What are you going to do?
Well, I don't know, but he's got to be straightened out so he won't make such a fool of himself.
Somebody's got to wise him up.
Well, exactly, but how?
I think I know.
How are you going to do it?
Oh, not me. There's only one person I could entrust with such a delicate assignment.
What you want me to do, man?
I suppose you know how some of the students are treating that new kid, Matt.
Yeah, pretty cute.
Well, they're going to continue to give him a rough time if somebody doesn't wise him up.
Why don't you do it?
Well, because they would even be harder on him if they thought that I was giving him special attention.
Well, I ain't no social worker.
And it's none of your business, right?
I was gonna say that next.
Well, you can do what you want to, Jason, but you're the only one who can teach Matt how to take care of himself.
What do you mean? Why me?
Because you're the only one that I can think of who sees clear-headed enough to be able to teach a kid like Matt the facts of life.
Now, how about that?
You'll do it?
Well, if I can't hip him, he can't be hipped.
See, it's just that you never lived in a city before, and we want to teach you the score, understand?
Well, if you figure there's something that you should teach me, I figure I might as well learn it.
Hey, well, the first thing you're gonna learn is that I'm the one teaching, not him. He's got a lot of smarting up to do himself.
Well, what are you gonna teach me?
How to take care of yourself. There's gonna be a lot of cats sitting on you for bread.
Money.
They're gonna give you all kind of sad stories on how bad they need it and all. But don't give it to them. Okay? You got it? Give me a quarter.
Yeah.
You gonna give it to me?
I'd sure like to, but I'm afraid I can't.
That's better.
All I got's a dime.
Why would you give me your last dime?
'Cause you asked for it.
You didn't even ask what I wanted for.
A body has a right to his own privacy. You wouldn't borrow money if you didn't need it.
You know, if you look mean, cats wouldn't try to take advantage of you in the first place.
How can I look mean if I don't feel like it?
I'm not asking you to be mean, just look mean.
Look mean?
Sure. Then people won't even ask favors unless they really need it.
Yeah, man, it's all in your style. Look, just do what I do. Hunch over. Now put your hand in your pocket. Now scowl. Keep scowling. Now squint one of your eyes. Curl your lip.
Jace, let's try him on the walk.
Try it.
I'm sorry, Jason. I can't do that.
Well, the only thing left for you to do is have it out with Archie. Then the others will fall in line.
You mean fight? I ain't been in a fight since Cousin Barney stuck my sister Lucy's head in a bucket of raspberries.
Did you whoop him something good?
No, but I yelled on him pretty fair. I don't believe in hitting.
Well, Archie don't have to know that. Sometimes a good bluff will do the trick. The next time he pulls something on you, tell him quit jiving or else.
Or else what?
Or else you're gonna make him sorry he spoke your name in vain. You're gonna beat his head down so far you have to pull off his sock to see. You'll grind him in the dust. You'll pulverize him. And then you're gonna chew him up and spit out the pieces. If he tangles with you, he tangles with a wildcat. You're gonna use him for a doormat. He'll regret the ever-loving day he set eyes on Matthew Palmer. Dig it?
Yeah. But I don't know if I can say all that like I mean it.
Well, if you want to survive here at Whitman, you better try.
Well, I'll do my best.
That boy. There you go, Matt. You just may get it on yet.
Well, I gotta go to work. Oh, here's your dime.
Hey, come on, Gladys. Let's go over to the Greensleeves and listen to some music.
Oh, I'd like to, Archie, but Jeannie and I and some of the kids are going bicycle riding over at Adams Park.
Bicycle riding?
Yeah, sure, it's fun. Hey, why don't you come?
Boy, I'd like to, but I don't have a...
What'd you say?
I said I'll meet you there. I'll be the guy riding the slickest, wildest pair of wheels you ever saw in your life. Yeah. Man, am I glad to see you. You gotta help me.
Help you after the trouble you got me into the last time you asked me to help you?
Oh, I'm sorry, man. That was just sort of an initiation, you know, to see if you could take it. We didn't want to get you into any trouble.
Well, I gotta go to work.
But you gotta help me. It's hard for me to ask you this after what we pulled on you, but it's important, no kidding. You gotta do it for me.
Do what?
Lend me your bike.
I can't. I deliver groceries with it. Would you kindly move, please?
But it's an emergency. My Aunt Lorna was taken to the hospital. I just got an emergency phone call. My folks are at work, and she's there all alone. I gotta get over there.
Is that the truth?
Would I kid you about something serious like this?
No, but I'm sorry. I gotta deliver groceries. Can't you take the bus?
No bus goes near there. Oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Poor Aunt Lorna.
Well, okay, you can have it.
Great, you saved my life.
I deliver my groceries on foot.
You're too much, man.
I hope your aunt's okay.
So I think I made some kind of impression on that country boy, Mr. Dixon. He's gonna think twice before he let anybody walk over him again.
That's good, Jason. I'm glad to hear it.
Jason.
Hi, Gladys.
Hey, hi, Mr. Dixon. Hey, Jake.
Hi, Archie.
Archie! It's not my fault if he believes everything you tell him.
So you lied to him and took advantage of him, huh? Mr. Busby said he should be around here somewhere.
Yeah, he said he's on his way down to 2211 Willow Street. There he is.
Hey, Matt! Hold up a minute.
I couldn't tell Mr. Busby I loaned out his bike, and I gotta deliver all my groceries before supper time or I'll lose my job.
Well, hold on a minute. We've got somebody who wants to say something to you.
Hi, Archie. How's your aunt?
I don't have any aunt in the hospital.
You don't?
No. I just said that so I could use your bike.
To do what?
To go riding in the park.
You wanted to go riding in the park, so you told me that fib about your aunt being in the hospital?
That's right.
And made me deliver my groceries on foot, even though I might lose my job?
Well, if you're dumb enough to believe me, it's your tough luck.
Archie, I've had just about enough of you.
No.
Shut up! You shut your mouth or I'm gonna shut it for you. Now, I'm gonna give you one more warning, then that's it. Do I make myself clear? You mess with me one more time, I'm gonna knock your head so far down you'll have to take off your socks to see. I'll grind you into the sidewalk, pulverize you into mincemeat, chew you up and spit out to pieces. You tangle with me, you'll tangle with a wildcat. You mess with me one more time, you'll regret the ever-loving day you set your little piggy eyes on Matthew Palmer. Now beat it.
Hey, it's a long walk.
I said beat it.
You did it, Matt. I gotta say, you yelled on him pretty fair. Pretty fair.
Yeah, I don't think you'll be having any more trouble with Archie. Come on, we'll help you deliver those groceries, and then we'll go back and pick up your bike. What's wrong?
Well, you don't think I was too hard on Archie, do you? I mean, I'd hate to think I might have really hurt his feelings.
Come on.
I mean, I'd hate for a person to be really feeling bad on my account. Back home once, I knew a boy who had a habit of taking frogs to school, putting them in the teacher's bed, and one time he put one in prison.
Well, he was such a nice, gentle kid, so trusting, and now you and Jason have made him just as cynical and suspicious as everybody else.
Only suspicious enough to take care of himself.
Well, maybe he had something we've lost, a kind of openness, a belief that the next guy isn't always trying to take advantage of him.
Maybe. Well, anyway, I gotta get to the cleaners. I gotta pick up my one and only suit.
You going somewhere tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, where?
To dinner.
With anyone?
A friend.
Old school buddy.
Good guess.
I didn't know you were still in touch with any of your old school buddies.
Well, she's the only one.
She?
Liz, you know you're right. Matt's lack of suspicion was kind of nice. Trust is a wonderful... What?
Who are you taking out to dinner tonight?
You mean you forgot?
Forgot what? Oh. Tonight's beans and enchiladas night, isn't it?
Like I was saying, lack of suspicion and trust, wonderful qualities, but very rare these days, very rare.
It out already. I've been here an hour.
Young man, this office has only been open 22 minutes. After you complete the yellow cards, take a pink and a blue one from these boxes over here. Fill those out and return them to me with your yellow card.
Pardon me, miss. I'm Tom Gianelli.
Yes. Oh, yes. Mr. Kaufman told me you'd be here this morning. Did you bring your transfer papers, Tom?
Mm-hmm. Right here.
Well, I'll just fill these out for you.
What is that? How does he rage?
Is there a water fountain around here, miss?
Yeah, it's right over there.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you, miss.
You're welcome, Tom.
Thank you.
You made the coffee this morning, Miss Johnson?
Right. Anything wrong?
Oh, no, it's just fine. Anyhow, getting back to Gianelli. Before we get too excited, let's remember the old thing. It's not whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game that counts.
Oh, you don't really believe that, do you?
I believe it, but I'm so tired of it. We always play badly and lose well. I'm so glad our luck has changed I could go out for cheerleader.
Terrific. You want some more coffee?
No, thank you.
Oh, hi, Liz.
Hi. Have you spoken to Tom Gianelli yet?
Yep.
You made the coffee this morning, Alice?
So how come everybody knows?
Well, what did you think?
Well, I can see why he's a high school legend. He's absolutely charming, but he...
165 pounds of pure glory for Walt Whitman High, and all you can say is charming?
That's not all she said. She also said but. But what?
But he has a C average.
Since when is a C average a problem?
Since we first realized that Van Buren is about a year and a half behind us academically. I mean, 2 A students transferred from Van Buren, and they could barely make C's here.
We have a problem.
Well, maybe not so bad. Let's see what happens when I test him.
You see, some of the events leading up to the American Revolution were more interesting than the revolution itself. So I want you to examine certain phrases, names, places, political slogans, etc.
Sorry about that.
What comes to mind when you hear the names Lexington and Concord?
One if by land and two if by sea.
No taxation without representation.
The Boston Massacre.
Good. Does anybody know what the Boston Massacre was?
Yeah, it was a bummer. New York 35, Boston 0.
Very funny, Tom. Now, would you like to try and answer the question? Tom, you read chapters 8 through 11 so you can catch up. The rest of you read chapter 11. Helen, would you pass back last week's quiz? Oh, Helen, are you there?
Oh, yeah, sure.
When I, sitting, heard the astronomer where he lectured with much applause in the lecture room, how soon, unaccountable, I became tired and sick, till rising and gliding out, I wandered off by myself in the mystical moist night air, and from time to time looked up in perfect silence at the stars. Now, what was the poet trying to say?
Sounds like he was trying to say he was sick and tired of lectures.
I think he was trying to say a little more than that. Tom, did you get anything out of it?
I'm afraid not, Miss Johnson. Poetry is not exactly my thing.
Well, okay. Helen.
Well, I think the poet was trying to say that there's more to the stars and the skies than mathematics and astronomical charts. There are things that can't be measured. Beauty and mysticism. And romance.
Yeah, very good, Helen. Does anyone know who wrote the poem? Oh, you're gonna hate yourselves when you find out. Bernie?
The man our school is named after, Walt Whitman.
Right.
Since when you start knowing about poetry, man?
I don't know anything about poetry, but I do know what's inscribed over the water fountain in the main hall.
Okay, class dismissed.
Hey, you're not only pretty, you're smart.
Thank you.
Helen, could I see you a minute?
Oh, sure.
You have a lot of classes with Tom Gianelli, don't you? Mm-hmm. Well, you see, I had this thought. You know, this is a much tougher school academically than the one Tom came from. And I was thinking that a good student like you could really make a terrific contribution to the football team by, well, sort of encouraging him and inspiring him and
helping him.
If you really want to.
Tom, did you have any trouble with the math assignment?
Nope, no trouble. I didn't have time to do it.
Here, I had time.
Wow. Thanks, Helen.
Has anybody seen Liz?
She's testing Tom Ginelli.
Oh, how's he doing in your class?
Not bad. How about yours?
Not bad.
How about his other classes, Mr. Kaufman?
Well, I'm delighted to report, not bad. Not great, but not bad.
Hi, gang.
Skip the preliminaries. How'd our boy test?
I'm sorry, those scores are confidential to be used for counseling and other legitimate purposes.
Oh, Liz, what a time to get hard-nosed.
He's in the upper 10 percentile.
You're kidding.
Liz, I'm warning you, if you're putting us on...
His IQ is over 135.
The boy is brilliant. What were we worried about?
That he wouldn't be able to keep up with the work?
Oh, we don't have to worry about that anymore, do we?
Don't we?
What do you mean, don't we? You heard what she just said. The boy has a very good brain.
That has obviously been going to waste because he never had to use it.
He's right. An IQ of 135 does not jive with his grade average, Mr. Kaufman.
Oh, now, come on, you two. I've got a cup that's half full. You two see it as half empty.
We're only doing our job.
Gloom mongers.
Congratulations, Helen. I got an A.
You know, when one of you gets a D or an F, it means that I failed. I failed to get you to think about history. So in a way, your grades are my grades. Bernie?
Mr. Dixon, would you please explain to my father how come you got a D on this test?
Oh, Helen. Can I see you a minute?
I'll wait.
Are you satisfied with the C on that paper? You know it wasn't up to your usual standards.
I know it was too short, Mr. Dixon. I, didn't have time to do more.
Okay. Work on it some more tonight, and I'll reconsider the grade, okay?
Oh, thank you.
Tom, can I see you a minute?
Catch you later.
Where's the research assignment I gave you?
Well, you said there wasn't any rush doing it, so I'm doing it carefully.
Good. About finished?
Pretty soon.
I want it tomorrow.
I'm not sure I could have it finished by tomorrow.
You've had 2 weeks.
I know, Mr. Dixon, but they kept me pretty busy on that field. You used to play football, didn't you?
Yes.
Oh, then I guess you know how it is.
Make it short, Tom, but make it your own. Tom, do your best and you'll make it in this class.
Gotcha, Mr. Dixon.
Make it hurt! Go! Come on, you guys, look sharp. We got a game to win on Saturday. Now, come on, let's work. Get them up. Keep them high. Right. Come on. Come on, stop those guys. Come on. There we go. Bang. 1, 2.
Nice pass, Tom.
Thanks, Mr. Dixon. Did you get my paper yet?
Yes, I did.
You know, I really had to work on that one. I had to type it 3 times before it was even neat enough to hand in.
Very well typed.
Every word of it was mine, too. So what'd you grade me on it?
F.
F. An hour's typing it.
But, Tom, I wasn't given grades on good typing.
Hey, Frank, throw a few, okay?
Tom, all you did was reproduce what was in the book. Oh, you were smart enough to change the words, but you didn't bother to challenge the concepts, the viewpoints, or give any real thinking to the material.
Okay, that's a reason for giving me a C, maybe. Or even a D. But an F?
Tom, if I really thought that was the best you could do, I would have given you a B or a C.
Man, I really tried. I did my best. I did.
No, Tom, you didn't do anywhere near your best. I doubt if you ever have, except on a football field.
What did I do? I thought you liked me.
Oh, I like you. Everybody likes you. You're a real winner, Tom, but it's costing you. And you know, I have a feeling that your whole life has been one long free ride.
What's wrong with that?
Free rides don't take you very far. Sooner or later, you're going to have to pay your dues. Tom, you've got a brain, and I'm going to insist that you start using it.
Pete. Hi. Pete. One day to turn in an assignment, then you give the kid an F? What are you trying to do to me? There aren't that many Tom Gianellis in a principal's life.
I'm afraid the story lost something in the translation. You see, Tom had that assignment 2 weeks before I gave him the 1 day's notice.
Oh. In that case, what's that kid trying to do to me?
The question is, what's he trying to do to himself?
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, why so gloomy, Mr. Kaufman?
Jitters, that's all. Routine, pre-game jitters. Oh, how's Tom Gianelli doing in your class?
Great.
Well, that's good.
What about Helen?
Oh, she's a big help to him.
I know. That's what I'm concerned about.
Well, what's wrong with Helen helping Tom? I mean, you want us to have a winning team this season, don't you?
Oh, sure. But I've got a question.
What?
Why are we here? I mean, to produce winning teams or to help young people realize their full academic potential?
Not too crazy about that question.
Well, can't we do both?
I don't think we can in Tom's case. You see, he may be a star in high school, but there's no guarantee he's going to make it as a professional. And even if he does, a professional player's career only lasts until he's about 35, and then he's through. I knew a guy in college once, and we had a name for him. It's just like Tom. We called him America's Guest.
America's Guest?
Yeah, a guy who makes it through life being charming, a freeloader.
Now, Tom isn't a freeloader.
Not yet, he isn't. But what happens to a guy when he gets used to having everything done for him? Let's face it. Are we really helping Tom Gianelli? Tomorrow we'll have a midterm oral exam covering everything that we've studied so far.
How much is going to count on our grade?
A lot, Jason, a lot.
How come an oral quiz, Mr. Dixon?
Well, an oral quiz gives me a better feedback on how much I've gotten through to each of you. And each of you will be on your own. Now, if anybody thinks that this quiz is designed to ambush you personally, well, you're wrong. Any questions?
Yeah.
Pam.
Mr. Dixon, will suicide get you out of it?
Only if you bring in a note from your parents.
Hi, Miss McIntyre.
Hello.
Mr. Dixon.
Tom?
Yeah, I've been thinking about our little talk. You're absolutely right. I didn't give that report my best. I'll do another one, okay?
Nope.
What do you mean?
I mean, I have a lot of things to do myself, and I don't have time to read another report. The oral quiz will be enough.
Pete, you know that friend you had in college?
Yeah?
The one you called America's Guest? How'd he end up?
Badly. Very badly.
Hey, what's the matter?
Oh, Dixon is really out to get me. He won't let me write another report.
Oh. Tom, you never did ask me, you know.
Ask you what?
To write another report for you. You just assumed it.
Well, wouldn't you?
Yes. But suppose Mr. Dixon said okay, and I said no. I mean, I wouldn't, and you know I couldn't. But someone might.
Well, Dixon just did.
Okay, then learn from it. Listen, you don't need people to say yes to you all the time to get by.
All right, suppose I told you I'm going to read that book cover to cover tonight, and I want you to quiz me at the end of every chapter. What would you say?
Yes.
All right.
Before we begin, I want to mention a couple of things that I expect from you during this oral quiz. And some I don't expect. I I don't expect polished oratory, but what I do want from you is evidence that you've thought about the material. So just relax and approach it as though you and I were discussing a subject that interested the both of us. Jason, the Declaration of Independence is considered one of the world's great documents. Why is that so?
Well, it gave the colonies real arguments for splitting up with England, and it gave them real clear.
And that's what you think is most interesting?
Oh, yeah. Me and my friends sit around all the time talking about the old Declaration of Independence.
Okay, sit down. Helen, let's chat about the Stamp Act.
Well, it was one of the first colonial grievances that led to the revolution. But you know, the thing that's interesting is that if you read the American protest against it, you get really angry at British tyranny and all that. But then, if you read their arguments for having a stamp tax, they seem very reasonable.
And what does that lead you to believe?
Well, that there are two sides to every question. And that in a war, each side believes it's the only right side.
Very good, Helen. Tom, what do you think about the two Adams cousins?
John and Sam?
Those are the ones.
Well, John got to be president, and Sam didn't. Some of the history books say that Sam Adams. Mr. Dixon, can I sit down when I talk?
Go ahead.
Right, some of the history books say that Sam Adams was supposed to be a real rabble-rouser, and he was always jiving the people of Boston, trying to get them to do what he wanted. And John was supposed to be a Boy Scout, very noble. But if Sam was always conning the people for some private trip of his own, I don't see what good it did him. Sam wasn't the one who got to be president. But the same books make a big hero out of John, who became the defense attorney for the British soldiers who did the shooting at the Boston Massacre. Maybe it was noble, because it was sure unpopular with the people of Boston. It was very popular with the Royalists, British soldiers, because they were running things. John became a big man in the colonies after that. See, the thing is, even if the two cousins had different personalities, there wasn't really any difference in the way things worked out.
Well, of course, I'm pleased that we have a winning football team, but I tell you what pleases me even more. The fact that a boy like Tom Gianelli can make it as a student all on his own and still have time for football. I mean, after all, we're not in the business of turning out winning football teams, are we? We're here to help young people realize their full potential. I mean, that's what I'm always trying to impress on Mr. Dixon here, right, Pete?
Right.
Hey, y'all, if Mr. Dixon's substitute don't show up soon, this class will be over. I vote we take a quick recess.
I second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
You know, the way I see it, if Mr. Dixon can take a whole week at that teacher's conference, I don't see why I can't take me a vacation, too.
Man, you're always on vacation.
Hey, sweetheart, I just don't happen to dig history, okay? History don't exactly dig me either.
Or science, or math, or English.
Well, when was the last time something really unusual happened in this robot factory?
That's a very interesting thought, young man. I hope you'll forgive my tardiness, but the blasted kite got caught up in a tree. But not before the most amazing scientific discovery occurred. Does the word electricity mean anything to you?
Now, that can't be Mr. Dixon, sir.
More like the hired old Benjamin Franklin.
Well, I surprised you, did I? Well, history will, you know, if you read it. But why read it? I didn't. I did it. Yes, I made it. We must hang together, or most assuredly, we shall hang separately. Yes, I like that. Yes. And that other phrase Tom Jefferson and I came up with, government of the people, by the people.
And, for the people.
Yes. Oh, that has a catchy ring to it. You don't mind if I use that?
Oh, anytime. Glad to help out.
By the way, my name is Roy Hemmings, and as if you hadn't guessed already, I'm subbing for Mr. Dixon this week.
Mr. Hemmings? I'm Dennis Warmser. They have me on probation for my terrific grades. Miss McIntyre said she was going to speak to you.
Oh, well, I tried to explain to Miss McIntyre that I'm not your regular teacher. I'm just a substitute.
Well, man, if anyone can get me through these exams, you can. I mean, like, I can already tell you're the best teacher I've ever seen in this school. And, well, I've never asked for special help before, so... Would you?
Well, of course, dear boy, yes. You come back tomorrow and we shall dispel your sorrow.
Thanks, Mr. Hemmings. Thanks a lot.
I don't have to tell you how hard it is to find an inspiring teacher. I've got my fingers crossed that Hemmings is going to work out.
Well, you sound pretty hot on the guy.
Well, of course, his approach is unorthodox, to say the least. But I'm hoping he'll settle down into a pattern. Any kind of a pattern. Fortunately for us, the guy's got 3 master's degrees and about a half of a PhD. So this week, I switched him over to English Lit to take over from Miss Avery, who is in the middle of her 5th flu this semester. Now, if he gets through that unscathed...
Whoops, there's the bell.
Oh, by the way, welcome back.
Thanks a lot.
Oh!
Hey, how you doing, love?
Welcome back.
Glad to be back.
Mail. Pete, there's something I wanted to talk to you about before you go to class.
Mr. Kaufman just clued me in. My substitute stole the show.
Well, that seems to be the consensus of opinion. But I've seen so many of these quick flashes. You know, I badgered him all week about helping Denny, and he didn't keep one appointment.
Well, did he say why?
Yeah, he said he was a free spirit who didn't do well under tedious routine. I wouldn't be so worried if it weren't so close to exams. And if I didn't find the outline you left him lying by the wastebasket.
Well, maybe it just blew off on the floor.
Oh, no. He missed his throw.
A quiz? We didn't know anything about a quiz, Mr. Dixon.
Doggy, I thought you scheduled it for next week.
The quiz was scheduled for today, and you've known about it for 3 weeks.
This is about the Federalist Papers. Now, if you want to know about the personal life of Ben Franklin...
Or the fact that George Washington had wooden teeth.
Or how many spools of thread Betsy Ross used to make the first American flag.
Well, I'm only interested in the Federalist Papers. You did read those chapters, didn't you? Oh. Okay, get started. We've only got an hour.
check tells me that we've got our work cut out for us. Everybody turn their paper? Denny? What's that all about?
I'll mark my grade myself. Save you trouble. I got an F.
Oh, Mr. Dixon, you're not gonna count this one little old quiz, are you?
Yeah, you, kind of snuck up on us with this one.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll schedule a special tutoring session after school at 3 o'clock. Is that fair enough?
Can hardly wait.
Sorry I'm late, Mr. Dixon. Got any extra seats for me? I'm sure we can squeeze you in somewhere, Jason. You wouldn't happen to know where the others are, would you? Yeah, I know where they are. Hey, Mr. Dixon, if I tip you to something, will you get uptight? Go ahead. You ever thought about jiving a little bit more? You know, like Hemmings do. I may have thought about it, Jason, but it's not my way. You see, when it starts to getting close to exams, I find it necessary to bear down a little harder than usual, even though it doesn't make me the most popular teacher in the school. I can dig it. Jason, where are the others?
By a name I know not how to tell thee who I am. My name, dear saint, is hateful to myself, because it is an enemy to thee. Had I it written, I would tear the word.
My ears have not yet drunk 100 words of thy tongue's uttering, yet I know the sound. Art thou not Romeo and a Montague?
All I'm suggesting you do is have a talk with him. Some of my best students failed that quiz because he didn't follow the outline I gave. I gave a special tutoring session after school, and only 3 kids showed up. The rest were too busy listening to his readings of Shakespeare.
I don't blame you for being annoyed, Pete. I think your reasons are valid.
I should have come to you last week when I first saw what was happening. And today, he even failed to give a scheduled exam in English Lit and then swore the class to secrecy.
How did you find out?
You ever know a Whitman class to keep a secret?
He's a hero to the kids at their own expense. Now, I can't very well be angry at them, but somebody's going to have to straighten him out.
I think you're right, Pete. I think the time has come for Seymour Kaufman's famous little serious chat with a new teacher. My luck, he'll come in here dressed like Attila the Hun.
Bring them close. Don't let them touch.
Hey, it worked.
Yeah, it never fails.
Cured many hiccupers in your day?
Oh, a few, but none as beautiful as you are.
Hi, Alice.
Oh, hi, Liz.
Mr. Hemmings, Mr. Kaufman would like to see you.
Me? You sure he wants to see me?
You or some facsimile.
Well, thank you.
Come in.
You, wanted to see me, Mr. Kaufman?
Yes, Mr. Hemmings, come in. By the way, for my sake, please relax. This isn't an inquisition. I'd just like to have a little talk to kind of iron out any problems we might have. Have a seat.
Well, before you start, let me guess. I'm failing the audition, aren't I? No, you can level with me. Who complained? Was it Miss McIntyre? No, it was Mr. Dixon, wasn't it? Well, I always knew he was the jealous kind.
Nobody's jealous, Mr. Hemmings. On the contrary, we're pleased. I might even say eternally grateful when a new teacher shows merit. I think you have merit. You're a stimulating teacher. I like that.
But you'd prefer that I conform to the system, fit the mold, don't upstage the regulars, huh?
No, I wasn't going to say that. I would prefer when you make an appointment to counsel a student who needs help, that you would keep that appointment. And I would prefer that you stick to the curriculum.
Hemmings bombs again.
Mr. Hemmings, We seem to be having a little difficulty communicating here. All I'm trying to say is that I think you have the makings of a first-rate teacher. And what I want you to do is to take that bag of tricks of yours and use it to really teach. Now, if you can get yourself to do just that much, next time you're in this office, I might be offering you a full-time job.
Really? Well, I'm not sure I'd be all that interested in something full-time.
Well, don't lose any sleep over it. I haven't offered it yet.
Alice.
Hi.
Can I talk to you for a minute?
Sure, what is it?
Well, what I thought would happen has happened. The forces of conformity are gathering.
What are you talking about?
You know, shape up or ship out, band to the system, become a drone in the anthill of life.
Wait, hold it, Roy. What happened?
Kaufman dangled the carrot of a full-time job in front of my nose.
That's terrific. Congratulations.
Yes, but here's the proverbial catch. First, I have to get rid of my individuality, blend into the gray backdrop of this carbon copy profession. Well, they don't know Roy Hemmings.
Wait, Roy, I can't believe Mr. Kaufman said that.
Alice, I'm not like other men. I mean, some men travel with the pack, but I have to be free. The normal rules just don't apply to a person like me. Oh, I admit it. I'm a dreamer. I'm doomed to search forever for that perfect, elusive way. But isn't that what life's all about, really? In the struggle to remain free?
The words are good. But there's something missing. Who are you trying to convince? Me or you?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, take your costume thing, for example. Personally, I think it's just absolutely terrific. But did you ever think about just playing it straight once in a while?
Where would the peacock be without its plumage? And speaking of plumage, my dear, what do you say we go strutting tonight?
No. I don't think so, Roy. Thanks for asking me. Maybe some other time.
Hi, Mr. Dixon. I think it's about time you and I started tackling the books together. I don't need to tell you that you're about a half-inch away from getting bumped back a grade.
Yeah, I know, Mr. Dixon. I'll be okay. Thanks anyway. Mr. Hemmings is going to help me.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah. He may have to wait till he finishes the last draft of his novel, but he's almost done.
And you're just going to sit around and wait for it?
Yeah. See, he and I kind of speak the same language. You know what I mean? Excuse me, Mr. Dixon. Mr. Hemmings. Hey, I thought if you had some time right now...
I'm sorry, Danny, but I don't have time. Not now, and not later.
Yeah, but you said we could get to...
Danny, I think you'd better stop waiting.
Would you stop judging him? It's because you and all the other stick-to-the-road people around here ruined the best teacher we ever had.
Hemmings? What do you want, Dixon? Haven't you successfully undermined the opposition?
Let's get one thing straight. I didn't undermine you. You did that little trick all by yourself.
Whatever you say.
You know, it seems to me that whenever you have an audience, you have all the time in the world. But a few seconds ago, you were too busy to help a boy who idolizes you. Now, I'd like to know why.
Don't get me wrong, Dixon. I like the boy. Nobody helped me. I've got my own life. And you know yourself, you start helping one boy like that, and then they all want to crowd into your life and take every spare minute. Well, that may be your idea of something worthwhile, but I have more important things to do.
For instance?
Well, didn't they tell you? I'm writing a novel. Well, I'm going to have a gallery showing of my paintings.
I don't believe you. You know what I think? I think you're scared.
Scared? Of what?
Facing the truth about yourself. No, I don't think that you have ever totally committed yourself to anything.
Oh, now that's not true. I'm committed to being free, to being an artist.
Then why aren't you out there doing it? Living in a garret, suffering, or whatever an artist is supposed to do. Why don't you quit kidding yourself? You know what you really are?
I'm afraid to ask.
A teacher.
Oh, no. I just do this part-time to pick up some cash.
Oh, really? That's very strange. Your record shows that this year you've taught 63 out of 75 teaching days in 15 different schools. To me, that means you're a teacher. You see, very few substitute teachers are on the job as often as you. Now, why don't you face the reality that what you do is teach? Why don't you just settle down and do it with the same imagination and energy that you used to keep running away?
And spoil a perfectly good scenario? Now, you see, I'm rather fond of scene number 320, Mr. Dixon. You notice I have my bags packed. And that's how it ends.
Then I suggest that you don't delay the parting. As it is, we'll be busy for about a week picking up the pieces.
When you make a getaway, it's clean and swift, huh? No goodbyes, nothing.
I could say the same for your brush-up.
Listen, I hate first dates. You know, all the stiff pretensions and people trying to impress each other.
Have to start someplace.
Right, I know that, but basically I'm a sort of take your shoes off and relax kind of a date. And I just thought that, well, maybe just take you a little longer to feel comfortable with me and just be yourself. You know, no W.C. Fields and all that stuff, you know?
Is that why you turned me down?
That, and the fact you are an escape artist. If you decide to come back and stay a while, take your shoes off, well, ask me again. I'd probably say yes, Mr. Dream Chaser. See ya.
I said I want to apologize for putting you off all week. I guess I'm an expert at avoiding issues.
Yeah.
Well, if you'll give me a chance, maybe we can help each other.
You mean you're going to be sticking around, Mr. Hemmings?
Well, for a while, at least.
Do you really think Hemmings will be able to stick to it? Miss Avery called in sick again today. I think her flu is permanent.
I don't know. He showed up today without his usual bag of tricks.
Yeah, when he said good morning, he caught himself before adding my little chickadee.
When we two parted, silence and tears, half broken-hearted, to sever for years.
Mr. Hemmings, what did he look like?
That's funny you should ask, then.
Oh, here we go again.
Well, I was just going to tell you. He was tall, slender.
Well, where's the costume? Aren't you going to show us?
No, not this time. Oh. Well, perhaps some of our friends from literature will stop by and visit with us. From time to time.